I wish we could have that here.
Well, I actually I sent the VAs that I have. I sent them all T-shirts with our new
Wow.
stuff. So if you send me your address,
What was
I don't
that?
have any more hats like this, but I only got 2 made for me. But I might have some shirts. I can send you a shirt probably.
Yeah, that's perfect. I'll go ahead and send you my address then.
Okay. Yeah,
So
just
two VAs from the Philippines,
what's that?
two VAs from the Philippines. You sent two
Yeah,
shirts.
3 of them. Yeah, it took them forever to get there, but they got there.
Wow, nice.
Um, let's see here. Okay, let me share my screen because we're recording now, so to cut that out.
Okay.
Excuse me. Okay, so let me go into the ISA KPIs. Okay, so the first thing you need to know about the turning in your numbers every day. So remember how we talked about having a spreadsheet with all your
Yeah.
numbers? This is the
Mm-hmm.
spreadsheet, right? And I put you in there. I had to fix it. So these are just test entries.
Yeah.
But basically, the form that goes to this spreadsheet is the one that I sent you, which looks like this, right?
Yeah.
So the date you set the appointment, who the ISA
The
was,
name.
which is just your name, and the number of dials, number of contacts, which let's change that actually. Let's do this. Let's call it number of live answers. And then let's update the form. So that it's a little less confusing. Well, these all need to be required also. And we will put this in. So conversation, 2 minutes or longer.
Yeah.
Dial time, talk time, number of appointments set, email. That doesn't need to be required. Okay. So now that's updated. So
So
when
the
you
number, yeah, Ryan, quick question. Number of live transfers, those people who pick up, right? The phone. It
yeah,
doesn't
that's
matter
just
if it's a
doesn't
wrong
matter who it is.
number. Okay. All
Yep,
right.
they just answered the phone because what that tells us is what's our answer rate, right? If
Yeah.
we if we know that our answer rate over time should be about 10%, right? Like we make 100 phone calls and 10 people answer the phone, and then all of a sudden we see now we're at 3%. What that means is our number is probably getting spam blocked, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's why it's important to track how many people are answering the phone, because if we see a big dip and it goes down a lot, that means we probably need to change the phone number that we're calling from, because the cell phone providers are blocking that number from going through.
What do you
So
think
that's
is the
why.
minimum?
What was that?
What do you think is the minimum? How many percent? Would you think that
Uh,
it's normal?
I think we've seen like we have to be over 8%.
Okay.
Anything less than that, like that's kind of low.
Yeah.
And there could be other things too. The time of day that we're calling, you know what I mean? But you're going to be calling all day long. So that shouldn't really matter for us because you're kind of calling all day.
Yeah.
And we have your schedule set up to be during the better hours for calling, anyways.
Yeah.
So, but if it was like me and I was just only calling in the morning and then I started calling in the evenings and all of a sudden my answer rate went down, I would know that, okay, maybe it's the time of day that I'm calling.
Mm-hmm.
So, very easy, right? Date, who the ISA is, number of dials, number of live answers, number of conversations, dial time and talk time, which I'm going to show you those right now. and then
Yep.
number of appointments. Very easy, right? Self-explanatory. So let's go into, actually, let me show you this. So this spreadsheet right here is going to get linked to this dashboard. All
Okay.
right. So this dashboard will keep track of all of our KPIs forever, essentially. And so
Mm-hmm.
it'll show you like how many dials you've made, how many we'll change this to live answers, right? Or answers, conversations, appointments set, and then appointments met. This is this will come from another spreadsheet that we track our listing appointments on, and then dial time and talk time. Okay.
Gotcha.
So then I can filter this, like I can go year to date, quarterly, monthly, weekly, daily. And that way we can monitor your performance and your
Mm-hmm.
conversion rates. And then we can, once we know your conversion rates, we can really start to dial in, okay, how many leads do we need? How many phone calls do we need to make in order to get X amount of appointments?
Yeah.
Right? Because ultimately what we're going for is an appointment set so that we can go on it and then get the listing.
Yeah.
So over time, as we track your numbers, we're going to figure those conversion rates out. So that's what the ultimate goal of you tracking your numbers is to feed this dashboard so that we can track your numbers.
Gotcha.
Now, the way that we get dial time and talk time, excuse me. Uh-oh. I'm going to log in as you. Okay, so I'm going to go look at your numbers from yesterday, all right? So let's look at call history. So these are all your most recent dial sessions right here. So these ones are today. So you had one that lasted an hour and 26 minutes, one that lasted 49 minutes. So if I click on this first one, details, the duration, that is your dial time. That's the amount of time that you spent like in the dialer, like actually making calls. Does that make sense?
Yeah, gotcha. So that's the duration. Okay.
So that would be duration. The talk time, this is the amount of time that you actually spent connected to somebody else on a live answer, right? So someone answered the phone, this talked, and you click the little button that says live answer, this starts accumulating time. So this is a good indicator of how many appointments you should be setting, right? We want to see talk time get pretty high, like up to like an hour or two a day, like
Mm-hmm.
actual time spent on the phone. If we're really low on talk time, it means that they're either not answering the phone, right? Which we're tracking by looking at the number of live answers. So for example, you made 80 calls and you had 8 live answers. So you have a 10% answer rate. All right.
Yeah.
So out of 8 phone calls, you were able to talk on the phone for about 4 minutes. So if we see that your number is really low on talk time, but like people are answering the phone, it means that we have a scripting problem. It means
Mm-hmm.
we're getting off the phone too fast, right? We're not pushing through objections, or we're just getting shut down. And so the calls are getting ended prematurely. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we track talk time as well. All right.
Okay.
So if I want to look at, let's say, yesterday, to fill out your form, what you do, so you have multiple, excuse me, multiple call sessions for yesterday, right? So you
Yeah.
don't need to just like add them all together. What you do is you go to view all dial sessions, and then you can use these dates to filter it. So let's look at yesterday. which was 417, and we just go 417 on both of them, that's going to show us all your numbers for yesterday. So at the end of the day, this is what you're going to do. So yesterday, you made 336 calls. And here, let's go ahead and go ahead and open up the Google form. I'm going to have you fill this out right now as
And
as we're
the
going over it.
date will be from yesterday, right?
Yeah,
417.
417.
Okay.
I can't see your screen, so let me know when you have it pulled up.
Yeah, it's already pulled up.
Okay. What's the next question?
All right. So a number of dials made, 336, right?
Yep.
Number of live answers would be
43.
43. Number of conversation would be
Okay, so conversations is the one that's a little bit more difficult.
yeah,
This is where we actually have to go in
the
and
details. I saw that yesterday as well.
that's kind of a pain. Like if you go down and you
Yeah, one
track
minute. Yeah,
anything that says 2 minutes or more, it's important to track that,
yeah,
but talk time sort of does that also. Follow-up boss is easy because it just tells you how many 2-minute conversations you have. Vulcan doesn't. So you would actually need to go through
yeah.
each of these and count.
The 2 minutes and up conversation.
So there's one. Let's go back. There's two. Three. I guess it's not that hard.
Yeah.
So you had 3 conversations yesterday.
And dial time would be 5 hours, 5 minutes.
Yeah, don't worry about the seconds. Just do 5 hours, 5 minutes.
Okay.
And so one
And
thing, when you put in your time, how does it
mhm.
do it? Oh, you know what?
What do they have? Oh, dial time. What do they have? Like 1,000.
I think this is seconds. Jaden did this some weird way. Oh, anyways, don't worry about that yet. Let's see what happens when you do it.
Okay. So talk time is
I would just round
25
up.
minutes.
I
Yeah.
just say 26 minutes.
And appointment of numbers set yesterday. I think there's no appointment yesterday, but I do have a. So a warm is not considered an appointment, right? So I'm just gonna put 0 here.
Correct. Yes. It would not
And
be an appointment set yet.
and email address, Ryan, is my email address for
You don't need to put the email. Don't worry about that. I'll delete
so
that question.
yeah, let me go and send this right now.
Okay, let me share my screen again. Oops.
Okay, let's go and send it. Okay. Sit.
Okay, let's see here. Okay. So we got your name in there. So this all worked. So for the time, what I think we need to do when you're inputting it, I think it needs to be like, oops. So 5 hours, 5 minutes. I would do it like a clock, like 5 or 0, 5, 05. No, that's wrong.
Oh, okay. Is that the
Hold on. Time out. It was 5 hours and 5 minutes.
yeah.
I would do 5:05. So that's 5 hours, 5 minutes. And then 26 minutes would be like 0:26.
Gotcha. All right, I'll go and do that.
And then I need to figure out, we may need to I need to play with this to make the scoreboard work. He has it like this because the scoreboard, the way that it was pulling. But don't worry about that right now. I'll figure that out later. So whenever you're doing the time, just do it like in hours and minutes.
Gotcha. Okay, I will.
All right. Next, I want to show you in follow-up boss, because once you start making calls in follow-up boss as well, which we're getting ready to start doing, you will have to add follow-up boss numbers to Vulcan numbers, right? So let's say you made 336 calls, and then you also did 50 calls in follow-up boss. Your total calls would actually be 386, right? Because you got to add the follow-up boss calls as well.
Okay. Hmm.
So if we
So
go to
follow
follow-up,
boss would be fewer, right?
usually, yeah, because those are going to be like more of your nurtures, your follow-up calls.
Yeah.
So the way that you would do this, when you log into follow-up boss, if you go to reporting, and then you go to calls, you'll just make sure it says your name, which it should, because I think you can only see your account. And then you can go by the custom dates. Like if you looked at yesterday, 417 and 417, apply. Boom. So there would be a number of calls made. Connected, that's 1 minute or more. We don't track that. Conversations, that's 2 minutes or more. So that does get tracked. And then your total talk time. So this is time that you actually spent talking on the phone. This does not track dial time. So you won't be able to add dial time into the Vulcan 7 number since it doesn't track it. It does track talk time, though. So you would be able to add that. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. And it also tracks how many calls you got, how many you missed, and then your answer time. So how fast do you answer a call when you get an inbound call, essentially. So this is in the reporting under calls, and then you can filter it, the dates based off custom dates. And so at
Okay.
the end of the day, you're going to look at Vulcan, and then you're going to look at follow-up boss, and you're going to add those together. And that's what you're going
Gotcha.
to use to fill out the sheet.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm going to stop the recording so that this is one video.